There are moments in decluttering that feel so bittersweet, like that moment when you open that box that you haven't opened in years and rediscover some childhood dishes that you used in the holidays, or maybe a piece of jewelry you wore to an event that you just have really fond memories of. Sometimes letting go of our clutter can feel a lot like letting go of the past. So today I want to share one of my favorite methods. It's kind of my go-to method I created over the years to help really dial in on being able to identify, should I keep this? Should I let go of it? And that big sentimentality aspect. This actually reminds me of a story where I used this method and put it into place. And that is when, after my kids got too big and too old for the stroller, one day my husband and I were going through the garage decluttering, and he picked it up, and I knew what he was going to ask me. He said, "Are you ready?" And I immediately just burst into tears. Oh my gosh, I'm choking up just thinking about this moment because it was so emotional for me. I knew that our family probably wasn't growing, and that if we did have another child, we could always go out and buy a stroller. But just like a lot of things that happen in life that we use or love or remind us of a certain time when our babies were little, whatever it is, it pulls at our heartstrings because we're human. And so ultimately I did feel like I was ready to let go of it. We sold it, and it was really an amazing experience because we sold it to a woman who had just moved into our town from California, and she came and picked it up with her 2-year-old, and I got to see the mom and the 2-year-old, and the 2-year-old immediately got in the stroller. It was so amazing to see that this stroller, instead of collecting dust in a garage for who knows how long, was actually going to be blessing another family just as it blessed our family. And I truly shed a few tears at that moment. It's a moment I'll never forget. But I would never have that moment had I hung on to that stroller just in case, or just because I was attached to it. And so I share that story to share, even though I'm a declutter expert, I'm also human, and it's completely normal, and it's completely common and okay to get attached to things. And I find that a lot of people in the declutter process just are so hard on themselves and say, just wish I weren't so attached, or I just wish I weren't so sentimental. So I want to share with you this framework or method I mentioned that is called the ART framework. One thing about me, if you don't already know, I love acronyms because they're easy and they're fun to remember. So the A in ART stands for accept and identify. So this part is really twofold. You need to be able to do both. You need to be able to accept and identify. So I feel really sad about letting this stroller go, is what I said to myself as I was considering selling that, and eventually when I did sell it. The idea here is we're not shaming or judging ourselves for being human. We are accepting and identifying feelings that we have. We're not sweeping them under the rug. We're not being hard on ourselves. We are accepting and identifying. And then we go into R from ART, which stands for reframe. This is one of the most important things, no matter what type of thing in the declutter process you're handling, whether it's something that could come in handy or something you are emotionally attached to, right? We need to reframe our thoughts and our perspective on things to truly view things differently and create a different relationship between us and our stuff, which is the ultimate goal, in my opinion, when it comes to decluttering. Because you can declutter, you can get stuff out, you can make surface level progress, but the clutter will always come back if you don't evaluate your relationship with things. And if you truly, at the end of the day, believe that more is better and stuff is going to make you happy, your declutter journey will be quite fruitless. I see this happen time and time again. So reframing is so important, especially when it comes to the sentimental things. So reframe. Is this stroller honoring my memory of early motherhood or my memory of my young sons as babies, sitting in my garage, collecting dust, taking up space that could be used for other things that we're actually using at my son's current ages? Do I need this stroller now? If I let go of it, could I get a new one, right? I mentioned that earlier. Sometimes, especially with baby things, it can feel like the end of an era. If I get rid of all these baby things, that means we're not going to expand our family. But that's not true. We can always go out and get more stuff and more strollers. Maybe for you, you were looking at something that someone gave you. A question you could ask to help reframe there is, would that person want me to keep this if they knew I wasn't using it, loving it, or even if it was a burden to me? The answer there is probably no. Not many people would want you to keep something that you really didn't like and was just not serving you. And another thing people like to do with sentimental items is hang on to it. And sometimes hanging on to it can be for a lifetime in hopes that maybe one day it'll get passed down to someone who will love it and appreciate it. This could be a family member. This could be someone who's alive now. This could be maybe a future child you hope to have in your life one day. And time again, this happens. We hang on to this thing we love. It meant a lot to us. And then we hang on to it, travel around the country with it through all of our moves and seasons in life, take it all over. And then by the time time we think that, that person wants it, we hand it to them and that person doesn't want it. And with these things, we really want and expect these other people to love and appreciate these items that we're attached to emotionally, but they don't have the same attachment because it's not theirs. And sure, because they probably love and value you in their life, they're going to be somewhat attached to it, but it's not going to have quite the same meaning. So I think sometimes reconsidering, like, am I saving this for someone who's actually going to want it? And will they love it as much as me? Because if that's my expectation, that's probably not going to happen. And it just becomes a fruitless journey where we're passing these things on to different family members who do what? A lot of people just keep those things out of guilt. They don't know what to do with them. They feel bad if they let go of them. I have a whole video on that if you need help there. Another way to reframe this is, can I hang on to the memory without hanging on to the item? Well, of course, you're always going to have the memory. No one can take a memory away from you. And so maybe you take a picture of yourself holding that item, create a physical album you can open anytime you want to be reminded of some of these possessions. It's a really beautiful way to end your journey with it and make sure that that item hopefully continues on to someone who will appreciate it as much as you did. But the thing is, maybe there isn't someone out there who's going to love and appreciate and cherish this item as much as you have. And so what a lot of people do is they just hang on to it until they find that right person, right? Until they find that one person who is obsessed with this type of china made in this year, who maybe grew up at the same time as you, whatever that is. And I think, again, that just tends to be a fruitless journey. Now, if you do find that person, that's an amazing feeling, I'm sure, and one that was worth the wait. But for most people, the reality is that never happens. And so again, I think it's items come into our lives. They don't need to stay there forever. And being able to reframe and recognize this served me. It created powerful memories, good, bad, in between. It doesn't matter. But the heart of the matter is this is no longer serving me. I don't want to make room for this in my life or my home anymore. And that's okay. And then the T in the art framework is time. Is now the right time? Now, I think time here, when it comes to handling sentimental items and deciding if you want to keep them or not, is truly a privilege. Not all of us have that time. I've had friends who've very tragically lost parents unexpectedly and had literally one weekend to go through their parents' home and decide what to keep or not, right? That is not a lot of time. Time was not on their side. And the unfortunate truth was most of the things were donated or tossed into a dumpster because their parents in this situation had left no notes, no information about what was important to them, what they wanted to be passed on to younger family members and siblings and daughters and sons and things like that. And with the lack of time available to these people, it was a really sad and traumatic situation. The thing is, with anything we're emotionally tied to, it never feels like the right time. It's very easy to procrastinate. So this can be a double-edged sword, the time, because if it's been sitting in your garage for 15 years, what's the hurt or harm if it's going to sit in your garage for another 15 years? And so sometimes I think, again, just to avoid any type of emotion when we tackle that item, whether it's a good emotion or bad emotion, we kick that can down the road. And so one thing when it comes to time is that there's never going to be a perfect time to handle this, but I will say it is incredibly freeing to be able to use the ART method to help you get through the emotional things. And it can be so freeing. It can be a little painful depending on what type of objects you are going through, of course. But I will say on the back end, I hear from people all the time, maybe it was items they went through that came from a family member who has passed on, that they'd been delaying tackling those items because, of course, it's painful. Yet afterward and during the process, honestly, there was this very cathartic release, and they were able to pass things on to family members who truly wanted them, preserve some of these memories by displaying them in their home. I've had students turn clothing from people who passed on into really beautiful pillows. I mean, really, the sky's the limit on being able to utilize some of these items in a way that really honors those people and reminds you of those people and sparks that memory and sparks that joy in ways that serve you and your family. And I think you'll know when you're ready to let go of some of these items when you've worked through the ART method and you just feel at peace. Like, it might not ever feel amazing or like great to get rid of or donate or sell some of these things or pass them along to someone. But I think there's a difference between feeling pain and hurt from feeling peace. Like, I felt such peace and a little sadness, of course, when I donated my stroller. And that's just one example of many of how emotional ties can impact that. And so I really want to encourage you to try this art method next time you are tackling sentimental things, and keep this in mind, especially when it comes to the R, the reframe. Stuff is neutral, and it's the meaning we assign to it that carries this emotion. And some of that emotion can be really really triggering and really deep. Baby things our children outgrew, trophies from your childhood, a necklace given to you from a friend. It literally doesn't matter. Maybe it was a t-shirt you bought on vacation 20 years ago. Sometimes if we allow ourselves to completely zoom out of the situation and see an object for what it is, it can really help us shift our perspective and go, you know what? I don't need this. And remember, feeling sad when you let it go is okay. The end goal isn't to feel amazing when you let go of some of these emotional things. The key is remembering that you hold the memory, not the item. You do. You have that power. And you do have the power to let go of these things so that your home can have more freedom and that you can create more new memories with the things that are serving you. So if you felt stuck with getting things moving and you've resorted to social media for inspiration, I want you to click the video on your screen right now. It's time to tackle this clutter right away.